Good morning. Good to see everybody. It is my absolute pleasure to, hi Emily.
Hi.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 6th annual Symposium on Children. I remember Tanny Crane is here today, who was here on the 1st, and I remember thinking, wow, we might do this again next year, and here we are at the 6th. This is just a really exciting moment. It's really remarkable and exciting for me that there's this many people in our community who are invested in children's well-being. So let me thank you for coming out today and spending the day with us. There's so many friends in the room. I love it. I think everybody in this room will agree that this is a really exciting time in Ohio concerning early childhood. We see that the topic of early childhood, it's really everywhere. It's in mayor's agendas, city council agendas, county commissioner agendas, and we all saw our new governor come on very strong to enact various regulations to increase the state's investment in early education. Everybody in this room knows that we do have far to go, but we see momentum and movement in positive directions. We have convened today on a topic of quality. Every time you're in a conversation about early childhood, this word quality comes up. What we want as providers, as policymakers, as researchers, is to ensure that all the offerings we provide children can help children meet their maximum potential and that our investments paid off. And that's why we understand that quality is absolutely crucial. Researchers who do work in this area firmly believe that quality is crucial. Where we're having some challenges is how do we define it using the same words in all of our conversations? How do we measure it using tools for the purpose of regulating or improving quality? And most importantly, how do we provide supports that increase quality through teacher education, professional development, policymaking maneuvers, and so on? What we all agree on is that quality in early education involves fundamentally something regarding children's interactions and relationships. That is something everybody agrees on, that high quality early education involves interactions and relationships. But interactions and relationships are really hard to measure, and they're very hard to regulate. But I'm very excited to tell you that today we have convened two of the what I would say internationally renowned people, scientists who are working on this topic. Peg Birchnall from UNC Chapel Hill and Rachel Gordon from the University of Illinois at Chicago. We convened these two women purposefully to bring to Columbus the best in class doing this kind of work. And so they'll help us understand where are we going. We've also brought Ioma Aruka from, well, we were just talking about where you live. I thought it was Michigan, it's North Carolina. She has a job that allows her to phone in. Not phone it in, phone in. Phone in. And we called on her specifically to provide a voice towards, well, what does all this research mean for us here in Columbus and in the state? So really we said, can you get down to brass tacks for us and help us understand where we need to be going? I have the honor of doing housekeeping procedures. So I'll do this very quickly. Number one, bathrooms, lactation rooms are in the hallway. The beverage station will be open all day. You have surveys at your table. Please don't overlook these because it's crucial to have your input and your voice about the effectiveness of today and what we ought to do in the future. For those of you who are getting Ohio approved credits, at the end of the day, be sure to stop by the table and turn in your surveys and materials to get that credit. And I do want to remind you, as always, we close the day with a reception. And I actually think that that's really important. We're talking about quality being interactions and relationships, and sometimes it's receptions and festivities that gives us time to really engage with each other. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Dean of the College of Education and Human Ecology, Don Pope Davis, who's going to welcome you today. He came to us last July, so we've got about 15 months of him so far and hopefully many years into the future. He came to us from New Mexico State University and before that Notre Dame. He's a renowned psychologist. Can I say psychologist? Who is top of the field in issues regarding multicultural education and cultural competence. What I can tell you for the team in EHE who's engaged over early childhood across all of our departments, Dean Pope Davis has come on as a very, very strong advocate and supporter of the work that we're doing. He's a change agent who has no problem pushing for broad changes and transformation. And many of us are thrilled that he has seen the importance of early childhood at Ohio State as something he wants to support and help us grow. So join me in welcoming Dean Pope Davis.
Good morning. Is this an OH crowd? OH. Thank you. The energy level is up and high, and hopefully it'll continue the rest of the day. Thank you all for taking the time to be here today for this important gathering. One of the things that I think our college has paid attention to and will continue to pay attention to is the importance of early childhood education. One of the new founding pillars of our college is early childhood education. We have decided as a college that one of the founding principles will be that, and everything we do will emanate from that commitment. As the dean, I will drive that process with our faculty as collaborators, with our staff as collaborators, with our community partners as collaborators in this enterprise. We endeavor at EHE to elevate the experience around this topic. But what we have to do, in my opinion, when I look at the research and the engagement, is that we have to begin to pivot in a direction that creates new possibilities in new and different ways. When I look at the literature sometimes and read study after study, I see many people replicating and extending current research. And I very quickly put those articles aside. Because I'm always looking for a nugget, particularly in the discussion section, of what people are talking about to advance the possibilities. I'd like you, as you visit with us today, to engage in conversation that not simply repeats what you have done, but to have conversations and build new partnerships about creating new and different possibilities. You all know that if we miss the opportunity with our kids and children in early childhood education, they have a Herculean task ahead of them. You have gathered here because you believe this is important, and you want to begin to change that in ways that hasn't occurred before. My commitment to you as the dean of the college is that I need your help in elevating that experience and advancing that in a way that has not occurred as yet. I would like this to be the place where people come to have these conversations, both in terms of scholarship, pedagogy, experience, and community engagement. That is the formula, in my view, for moving forward. And so I ask you to consider these notions as you engage in your conversations today and assist us in this process. I welcome your conversations. I will do my best to be around with you today as long as I can. And please feel free to engage me in conversations that what you've been engaged in as well. Lastly, I will tell you that at an early event this morning, somebody noted that they thought I had on a Michigan tie. This is not a Michigan tie, and so I want to go on a record in case some of you are already thinking that. I see the looks around the room. It's simply a nice tie. Think of it in that context. Anyway, thank you for listening to me, and I hope you have a productive and enjoyable day. Thank you.
Thank you for those remarks, Dean Polk Davis. This is the first year I've had to do this, by the way. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Tanny Crane, who's going to also provide some welcoming comments. Tanny Crane is a leader in the city of Columbus, in many areas surrounding education, but she's probably I think it's safe to say she's our city's biggest advocate in the area of early childhood education. She's a leader with respect to Future Ready Columbus and the mayor's establishment of an early childhood advisory board. She was a thought leader 6 years ago when her family helped to found the Crane Center for Early Childhood Education, Early Childhood Research and Policy. And she's been a great driver in helping the center think about what it wants to be and do within the city of Columbus and the state, in fact. Tanny is the past chair of I Know I Can and was instrumental in founding or starting up Future Ready Columbus. The director of that agency is here today, Jane Leach. And so what I want to do is just, I'm trying to read my comments and then look up with my glasses. So in 2013, the family and the company funded the Crane Center for Early Childhood Research and Policy, and that activity gave rise to this event that we're at today. So join me in welcoming Tanny Crane.
Good morning. How are we all doing today? I hope you're as excited as I am to be here. I cannot believe this is number 6. As I remember, and I bet a number of you were at our first, which was, I believe, in the faculty club. Then we grew up, and we moved to the Longaberger House, and then we grew up again. And here we are, and I think we're going to grow up again, because I think we're at full capacity. We had to stop taking any more people. So how awesome is that we are all here because we are advocates for and care about early education. So I just want to personally thank you for being here. It is just astounding to see not just familiar faces, but unfamiliar faces. And as Dean Polk Davis said, it's really critical that we all come together and we collaborate because we can make a difference, and we are. So like you, I've been committed to and an advocate for early education for, I have to say, decades. And I hate to say it's probably 3 decades. Like you, I'm curious about new research. I'm anxious to learn about best practices. I want to know about how research can impact our practices, but both in our state and our country. And as a business owner, I also understand workforce needs. And I know that we are in labor shortages. You know, it's great that we have about 3% unemployment, but it's concerning in terms of as we look at the future. And we know we have over 800 under the age of 6 in the state of Ohio that we need to prepare for the workforce starting in 2031 because we need them. And so we know that the power of quality early education is going to make the difference for our workforce in 12 plus years. Unfortunately, the data suggests that we're not making an enormous difference, and that throughout the state of Ohio, just about 40% of children are ready for kindergarten, as it's defined by our KRA, our Kindergarten Readiness Assessment. And that's not good enough. And I hate to say that even worse than that is the disparity. And to me, it's alarming to know that disadvantaged children, only 28% of them are ready for kindergarten. That's not fair, and that's not right. So while the 40% number is startling enough, I think the 28% number is unconscionable. And so we in this room are going to make a difference. And so that's why I'm so excited to be here today, to be a part of this, and that we all care about quality early education. But also as a business owner, recognize that those in the early education field, it's about 53,000 employees throughout the state of Ohio that are in this field. And these people support over 18,000 parents that are in the workforce. So this field helps employ or are employed 71,000 people in the state. It's a critical area that we need to care about. As Laura talked about, I think the stars are aligning now more than ever. As you stated, Laura, that the governor is making a strong commitment. Our county commissioners throughout the state of Ohio are making a commitment, and I'm delighted in Franklin County to see that as well. As Laura said, our mayor, Mayor Ginther, has made a strong commitment from the mayor before him and is continuing that. We have state legislators that are making a difference, and we're so delighted that Peggy Lehner has been with us. For how many years has she supported this? Unfortunately, we learned last night that she's terming out next year, so we've got to do something about that. That's just one little plug. So I really believe, and then our communities are making an enormous difference, whether it's in Dayton, it's in Cincinnati, it's in Cleveland, and now in Columbus with Future Ready Columbus. We're going to work together, all of us, and we are going to make a difference. Quality has been an issue that all of us have wrestled with. I keep hoping there's a magic potion. And these researchers keep telling me it's not going to be one thing, but it is going to be a collection of things that we are going to try to figure out. We are figuring out what it is, and we're going to measure it, because it's important that we're able to define it, as Laura said, measure it, monitor it, and make a difference. So lastly, what I want to do is thank Laura Justice. She has been such an enormous leader at The Ohio State University, but her work and the quality of faculty that she's brought in is unsurpassed. The Crane Center, with Laura's leadership, is really a beacon, not just for our community, not just for our state, but for the nation. So excited that we have the opportunity once a year to bring in the best of researchers and practitioners on subjects that are critically important to us. So thank you, Laura, for what you do for our community and for our nation. Thank you so much.